get a little bit of lore tidbit in here before we get started. How about that? Yeah. Here we go. Hopefully Connie doesn't fall asleep.
The Titans believe in one true path, a cosmos of perfectly ordered planets under their structured rule.
Yes.
Each Titan held mastery over an element of that path. Khaz'goroth could shape the material realm, whilst Aman'Thul worked in causality. But the greatest, most unpredictable aspect of the cosmos is life. Life represents free will, the breaking of fate, the breaking of order. It was Aenar's responsibility to bind that life to the path of the Titans.
Everybody.
When they found Azeroth and assessed her as the final Titan, the key to their cosmic order, binding its life, was essential. This was done through the great labs in Sholazar and Ungoro, and through taming sections.
I won't stop much, but damn, the life binder is curvy. I would bind my life
of
to her.
the Emerald Dream. When the Titans left, they entrusted their plan to the Keepers, and in turn those Keepers empowered the dragon aspects. Each held that mission in their ascension, and Alexstrasza was given the greatest responsibility as Lifebinder.
Alexstrasza, Mommy Dragon.
Thank you for supporting this series. It's made possible by our patrons, and this is quite a special month. It's our first journals. Yeah, the actual physical loot that you will get in your mailbox.
I'm telling you, man, his
this month will
Patreon gets some
include
good shit.
Our journals.
It really
I
does.
absolutely cannot wait to get my hands
telling
on
my
these.
wife.
They're
Telling your wife.
actually on their way from the printer. But that's not all.
Don't tell her I'm cheating on her with the life binder, please.
From a special project that we're working on. We have our new Bestiary series and this absolutely gorgeous lantern pin in a wholly new design.
Very cute
Your
stuff.
support really does make this possible, and since you guys are supporting us, we're working out ways to
You
get
can look, just don't touch. There you go.
loot, so that you also get something cool that you can use. Thank you for your support. If you're interested, hit up the link down below.
I think she'd understand. Oh, it's quiet. What's this, wind blowing?
Proto-dragons respect one thing: strength. That made Alexstrasza's leadership all the more significant. She balanced Neltharion's brooding with Malagos's rage, her sister's sometimes naive love for life with Nosdormu's intricate mind. She became queen because of her compassion and timeless wisdom. That's why the Aspects, before they were the Aspects, rallied behind her to kill Galakrond. And when he was defeated, why they supported her lie that Galakrond was the father of dragons, not some strange experiment gone wrong.
Yeah, that was a lie that they told
On the day of her
us.
charge, Alexstrasza was blessed by Aenar and given the Lifebinder title.
Boom.
That name is important, as it was her job to keep the life of Azeroth bound to the path of the Titans. She ruled from Tearshold and through the life pools.
Holy crap, I never realized that's what they meant by Lifebinder. Keeping the path of life bound to the path of the Titans. Not any of the other paths that are possible.
Grew each flight until
Interesting.
they dominated Azeroth's skies. She witnessed the rise and fall of the Empire of Zul and the fracturing of the Trolls. She was queen when Odin left Ulduar with the Halls of Valor and during Loken's Curse of Flesh wars. Alexstrasza became an even greater guardian of Azeroth as the Titanic Watchers fell to infighting and madness. Then came the Keldori. In just a few thousand years, their empire had spread across Azeroth, and in their
Yes.
lust for power, summoned the Legion themselves.
The evolution of the trolls.
Alexstrasza's power was never absolute, and it was unimaginable that one of her subjects would betray her. But during that Legion invasion, Neltharion did. That betrayal is by now a well-worn story, but as queen, Alexstrasza keenly felt responsibility. Under her care, the dragons were now a shadow of their former strength, and
She
more
done
than
fucked up,
any aspect, the
essentially.
dragon's soul would come back to haunt her. In the wake of the War of the Ancients, the greatest question in Alexstrasza's court was what to do about these mortals. The dwarves had cut mighty fortresses into the earth, and on the coasts near the forest where Tyr fell, a group of smaller, more intelligent Vrykul descendants were in fact forging the first human kingdoms.
Yay.
Some thought these mortals far too dangerous, needing to be wiped out. But Alexstrasza believed, like the proto-drakes before, that mortals could be taught the path of the Titans and become defenders of Azeroth. To that end, Alexstrasza officiated Visage Days, where the dragons would take a mortal form. With this, they could walk amongst mortals, but more importantly,
And note, a sexy mortal form. Ain't none of these dragons looking like regular people walking around. These are sexy looking NPCs.
see the world through their
Good shit.
eyes. During this time, High Elves became key servants of the Dragon Queen, and to secure their new kingdom, she gave Ansternian Sunstrider the legendary blade Quel'Dalar. In
Well,
turn,
I didn't know that.
great mortal magicians like Egwin
That's where Quel'Dalar
turned
came
to
from?
Alexstrasza for help when Azeroth faced a threat. 10,000 years of hard-won peace. Peace that Alexstrasza worked tirelessly to ensure. That was, of course, until the Dark Portal opened. The Orcish invasion was led by Blackhand the Destroyer. His
Damn, orcs
lieutenant,
came and fucked shit up.
Zulahad, was given the location of the Dragon's Soul by Deathwing, and then it was given to his servant, Nekros. Gul'dan's warlocks were purged by Ogrim Doomhammer, and the Horde marched into Lordaeron,
Purging.
beginning the Second War.
It's always
These
purging
were
and well.
strange Orcish names belonging to alien invaders, but once they held the Dragon's Soul, they could command Alexstrasza. The Queen of Dragons was now made a slave, and if any red dragon tried to save her, Nekros would cruelly torture her until they relented. Alexstrasza's flights were now pressed into service in the Horde's war campaign. Great hatcheries were built at the peak of Black Rock and Grim Batol. Dragons loyal to the Horde were bred in great numbers.
I had no idea about all this
Alexstrasza
red
was
dragon lore.
helpless to watch her children kill former allies or die in battle trying.
Holy crap.
Deathwing, at the time, was posing as a human noble in Lordaeron, convincing the courts of the Seven Kingdoms that the so-called Orc menace was actually a lie. And during this time, he looked on with glee at his former queen's torture.
Why? He's fucked. He's done fucked up.
Deathwing sowed discord in
This
the
is
courts
integral
of
to- I didn't know
Lordaeron
about the
and
dragon's
directed
role in the
Nekros
Second War.
the use of the Dragon Soul. But the twisted aspect was about to go one scheme too far. Finally done with the Horde, Deathwing wanted control over Alexstrasza himself. So, he had the Orcs transport her from Grim Batol south into lands conquered during
This is essentially, Game of Thrones. We have dragons. They were fucking people up because
the
they had
First
dragons.
War. That caravan, the ruins of which you can still see today, was barely into the wetlands when Deathwing struck, killing many orcs and Tyrannostraz, the queen's consort. When Nekros tried to turn the Dragon Soul on Deathwing, Alexstrasza took that as her chance and swallowed him whole, escaping to the north where she could call the other aspects out of their seclusion. Along with Nosdormu, Malagos, Ysera, and Ronin, the Dragon Soul was finally destroyed, freeing all of Dragonkind from its power. The wake of Alexstrasza's freedom, though, brought many questions, the biggest of which was, what now? The portion of their power bound up in the Dragon Soul was by now returned to them, but dragons were now rare in Azeroth's skies. Even in the face of the Third War
They were rare in Azeroth's skies, and whenever we saw them, we killed them.
and of
we
the
didn't-
Scourge,
we didn't like seeing
Alexstrasza
dragons.
was in no real position to help. The greatest sacrifice of those times would be Nordrassil, the
Sounds
world's
good,
tree,
Zux.
which was
Thanks, man.
unfortunately destroyed in order
Shout
to
out.
defeat Archimonde. To replace it, Fandral Staghelm planted Teldrassil. But Nosdormu advised against blessing it, calling the Archdruid arrogant. When Alexstrasza agreed with Nosdormu, her being queen meant that no other aspects could really give their blessing, and as such, this new world tree's growth had become flawed and unpredictable. It was full of vulnerabilities that one day would lead to the corruption of the Emerald Nightmare. So weak had the Red Flight become that their guardians were powerless to stop Cyntharia, consort of Deathwing, when she returned to Grimbatol to continue working her Twilight Dragon experiments. Regardless of the little power they had left, dragons were still integral to Azeroth's defense.
Yeah, they were integral to us looting them. That's what they were integral to.
And characters like Crassus and Kalik were punching far above their weight. But once again, the collective might of the Dragonflights would be required when Arthas awoke from the frozen throne. Not only was the Lich King back, but Malygos had risen from a 10,000-year half-madness only to immediately declare war on all mortal spellcasters. This put Alexstrasza in a difficult position. On the one hand, yes, he had a point. Mortals were using magic in a dangerous way, dangerous enough to even risk summoning the Legion. But at the same time, without that magic, they wouldn't be able to protect Azeroth. Flying to the Wyrmrest Temple, an ancient Titan tower at the heart of Dragonblight, she summoned the Wyrmrest Accord, a joining of all five.
This is the point in the game where I really remember interacting with dragons. The Wyrmrest Accord was the first time I was like, oh, these are the dragon aspects. This is when I started to understand dragon lore a little bit more in the game.
Flights. Even then, it represented black dragons before Deathwing's return. Diplomacy, of course, would fail, and the brisk yet violent campaign that followed reached its conclusion as mortals assaulted the Eye of Eternity, defeating Malygos on the back of Alexstrasza's dragons. Internal problems now solved, the dragons could turn their attention to the mortals' march to Icecrown. The main assault was on Angrathar, Icecrown's mighty gate. The
first official cutscene in the game
to end the Scourge's ability to raise frostworms and to bring an end to the potentially apocalyptic experiments that were being carried out on the bones of Galakrond.
They're still there. Who knows if we'll
Soon,
do anything with them this
Bolvar
expansion.
and Sarfang the Younger made their fateful attack on the gate, and both were killed. But as Bolvar lay there in Putris's plague, he saw silhouettes of dragons in the sky. The Red Flight purified the battlefield, but their magic seeped into the half-dead Bolvar. Life magic infusing with death, with Bolvar eventually taking on the mantle of Lich King, but being secured by...
Bolvar was so badass, he kind of pussed out after he became the Lich King. He had some lines if you played a Death Knight back in Legion that were good, but somewhere along the Shadowlands timeline, he kind of became a puss. I don't know why. It just feels that way. Like, you know, Bolvar could have been so much cooler.
The magic of the Lifebinder, one eye gazing into the Shadowlands, one into our own world. It would not be long until Deathwing resurfaced and the cataclysm began. Alexstrasza knew that it was now time to right the failures of her past. As he flew around Azeroth, buckling the very fabric of the planet, the Dragon Queen confronted him at Grimbatol. They clashed, and although Deathwing was now full of void power, Alexstrasza fought him to a standstill, the two falling from the sky in each other's claws.
Life and
void.
void.
Wounded Deathwing returned
Titans and void fighting.
But it was only a matter of time before he would regain his strength. With a little breathing room now made, Alexstrasza would gather the aspects and begin a quest through time itself to claim a past version of the dragon's soul, for its power would be essential. Alexstrasza's role as organizer, as queen, is made clear here.
Can I say one thing about the dragon soul? Couldn't the art team have come up with something that looks better than this? The little golden coin, it's the dragon soul. This thing could have looked so badass. I don't know. Whoever passed this one through the art team and said, yeah, let's make a little golden coin.
Throughout the thousands of years of their charge, Alexstrasza was rarely on the front lines. She
One of the
is
most
a queen,
epic weapons in the
and
history
from
of WoW.
Warmest, she led the war against Deathwing, culminating in the climactic Dragon Soul fight at the Maelstrom and Deathwing.
Yeah, the hentai tentacle fight. We all did this.
Alexstrasza believed that the ancient charge of the Aspects had been fulfilled. Their job was over. So at the Maelstrom, the Aspects gave up their power, and they took their place amongst the mortals of Azeroth.
Yeah, until we needed them for an expansion.
A key insight into Alexstrasza's
Right,
mind
Dipnia.
is shown to us at the trial of Garrosh. She was the seventh witness against the disgraced war chief and testified about her time as a slave to the Dragon Maw clan during the early wars. That clan kept its head low, but when Garrosh's horde took power, they became his shock troopers. When asked what she would say to her once captors,
Interesting.
Alexstrasza simply stated that she loved all life in Azeroth, orcs included. We see that again in Dragonflight when Alexstrasza interacts with Death Knights. During the Legion's third invasion, the Death Lord of Arcturus stole eggs from the Ruby Sanctum. At this time, they could take what they needed, or they could destroy every egg in there. The latter option is
right,
wholly
baby.
evil, and it's one
Death
that
Knights,
leaves
baby.
Alexstrasza in a difficult position. She is openly hostile to these Death Knights, but they are
Fuck her. I
still
don't
some
give a
of
shit.
Azeroth's most powerful protectors. So
Yeah, we are.
ultimately, as queen, she must set the tone, and therefore accept their continued.
Know your role, Alexstrasza. You ain't gonna do shit without us Death Knights, so you best show some damn respect. We made some scrambled eggs out of your hatchlings. You know, get in our way, and you're gonna get flayed. What are we gonna do? But at least she understood the need for Death Knights for any campaign to be successful. Take note, all
Alexstrasza
people of
is a
Azeroth.
catalyst around which great events take place. Rarely does she get her claws dirty, but behind every Red Dragon mission or every great trial facing Dragonkind, her wisdom and compassion have shone through. At her core, she does believe that no one is beyond redemption. Not the orcs who captured her, Death Knights who killed her children, and right to the end, she still believed there was a way to save Neltharion. That will be put to the test.
Kind of like she wanted to save
Her
Razageth.
main antagonist, Razageth, and the Primal Incarnates. Although they are destructive and chaotic, the Primalists are living beings, and they want to be free. So Alexstrasza will not find it easy. When Rathian asks why Razageth and her fellow incarnates weren't killed all the way back during the early days of Alexstrasza's reign, a time we'll learn a lot more about as Dragonflight progresses, Alexstrasza said it's because she didn't have it in her. She did not have it in her to just kill her enemies.
Should have taken notes
I
from the
think the
Death Knights.
lesson, or perhaps trial of Alexstrasza, is that she will never have it in her, and she's always going to have to face the consequences of not taking the pragmatic yet brutal option. To go back to where we began, the Titans believe in one path, a cosmos of perfectly ordered planets under their structured rule.
Path of one.
Life and order are
versus the
both
path of
seen as
many.
good, and that almost blinds us to how they may sometimes be in opposition. For life also represents free will, the breaking of fate, the breaking of order. ANR is not a friend to life. She may be,
I'm
but
laughing
her
at
title
Abraz's
is
comment.
Life Binder. She binds life. She controls that growth. Therefore, there is a complex relationship between so many of these characters. Ysera and Alexstrasza are both deeply connected to life, but Ysera is more connected to Elune. We're not 100% sure where Elune fits on the whole order scale. In fact, we're fairly sure that life is one of the forces that perhaps order may be the weakest to. Will this be explored through Alexstrasza and Ysera's relationship, especially now that Elune is finally beginning to make murmurs within the universe? It's pretty
We
much
haven't touched on
impossible to
Elune.
tell at this stage.
Yeah,
but
this
ultimately,
expansion.
Alexstrasza's title is that of ANR. She is Alexstrasza, the Life Binder. And I have to imagine that will be extremely important sometime relatively soon.
So there you go. We're now at the end of
Amazing.
this series. There is, in fact, one more
Amazing.
video. We decided to delay it into 2023.
Wait, there's one more video? We got to watch it right now. We got to watch. He just said there's one more video. We got to watch it right now, guys. We're going to have to take a little break here. We're going to have to watch another. I'm just kidding.
Because it's about
calm
Tyr, and obviously
Everybody calm
there's
down.
new stuff coming about
We're gonna
Tyr,
fucking
so we
raid
figured
right now.
We need to get Tyr's new model. We really need to do it all right so that that episode truly is awesome and will stand the test of time. This
Did
has
we
been
have
a really
Priest or
fun
Hunter, a
series
Loon boss
to
fight a
make
couple of
as
raids
well.
ago?
And it's absolutely,
Did.
for me, got the clockwork going on what we're going to be doing in the new year. It's really fun to do lore speculation videos, but more storytelling oriented videos like this one,
I like
think
these kinds of
are
videos.
great to have. They're creatively satisfying to make in a way that is different.
I love lore.
Overall, then, the level
That's
of
good
production
shit.
value in this series is the highest that we've ever done. It's the sort of thing where a lot of things will look like they're bits that we've grabbed from the game. That's not the case. The amount of work that goes into each one of these is pretty insane. There's times where multiple hours could be taken to set up 1 or 2 shots, because they're all custom shots of things that literally don't
I didn't even
exist in
realize
World
that.
of
These are
Warcraft.
probably custom shots.
Which, of course, does mean that this is a far harder to produce
They look good.
series. That's why I mentioned the Patreon and that kind of thing, and because it's not the most attention-grabbing thing. Obviously, we don't really get the amount of views in. So as we look into the new year, I'm going to work out how can I continue to make content like this at this level of production quality without taking away from the other content that we produce. And if that's something that we can't achieve in the immediate short term, what is a happy balance? Because I really do want to make stuff like this.
He's basically
a bit of a tailor
saying-
for us going forward, especially when I think we're now.
He's basically saying that this is the stuff he likes to make, but this gets less views than the video where he's like in the title and it's like, "WoW is dying." Like, that's what gets the clicks, right? He's saying he enjoys making this more, but it gets less views, so he still has to make the clickbait "WoW is dying" videos too.
So because of that,
Yeah.
I just want to go in harder. I want to go in deeper. I'm enjoying the game more than I
Wait a
have,
minute.
Like, honestly, probably.
Hold on, we're gonna stop this video right now. But what did he just say?
So,
just-
honestly, probably near a decade. So, yeah.
Hold on,
I'm
hold on.
enjoying the game more than I have in, honestly,
Right here.
probably near a decade.
Wait.
So, yeah.
Damn it, I
deeper.
keep missing
I'm
it.
enjoying the game, making everyone a hell of a lot more happy. So, because of that, I just want to go in harder. I want to go in deeper. I'm enjoying the game more than I have in, honestly, probably near a decade.
Bellular wants to go
So,
in hard and
yeah,
go in deeper.
The passion's big. The passion's big.
And with
across
that,
all of the team.
We'll probably end the
Let me know what you
video.
thought of this one. Any comments?
I'm just
any
saying.
feedback would be much appreciated.
Yeah,
Most
helicopter
importantly
dick.
of all,
All right,
thank you
guys.
for watching.
No, thank
Perhaps
you,
share it with a
Bellular.
friend or something
Thank
like
you.
that if you want to,
All right, let's go. Let's start forming up this damn raid, and let's get in here. We got some heroic raiding to do. We got shit to kill. What's that?
Can always use another Death Knight.
Ryko gifting 5 subs. Holy shit, Ryko. What was that for? Was that because the video was so good? You've gifted 51.
Always use another Death Knight.
You have gifted 51 subs to this channel. Damn, Ryko. Congratulations to Friggity, Lockendots,
Can
and Gabster,
always use another Death Knight.
Gobliophobia, and It's Coons. You are all now Death Knights of our Scourge. By the way, I changed up my transmog a little bit. Went with a more
Can
dark,
always use another Death Knight.
a little bit more black in the transmog. Kind of like it. The video's finally over. There you go.